My manipulative ex-boyfriend wants to get back together with me and is lying about dating a girl. I just found out she's pregnant with his baby. I've been seeing a guy pretty regularly and everything was going well until he confessed that he technically had a girlfriend who he had been living with for a few years. He explained that they were pretty much broken up and they were only roommates until their lease ran out. After that, he was going to properly leave her and get out. He painted her out to be this villain who was mentally abusive to him and super codependent. She always sent him multiple texts asking where he was whenever he went out and called him stupid all the time for making some mistakes. He was miserable and felt trapped. I was angry that he hadn't told me earlier, but I understood why it was something awkward to bring up. I was willing to compromise with him. We had a great relationship and a deep connection, so if he was serious about leaving her, then we could figure something out. He told me that she was very aware he was leaving her and she didn't care about who he was seeing. I was so infatuated with this man I felt no reason to question it, I just believed him. Our relationship continued, but as the date the lease ran out got closer and closer, I realized he was making zero effort to move out. That's when I started getting suspicious and asked him about it. He told me she was being manipulative, saying that if he moved out, her life would be ruined and she wouldn't be able to afford her bills. She even went as far as threatening to hurt herself if he went through with it. He said that although he didn't want to be around her, he didn't want to add any more stress or pain to her life. So, they renewed their lease. I expressed to him that he's made me feel completely used and he's acting like he doesn't care about me or our relationship. His response was to love bomb me. He was telling me I was his soulmate and that one day he was going to marry me. He just doesn't have the heart to hurt her and cause her more stress. And of course, he promised that when she was more stable and he was finally able to get out, we would be together. I knew something was up at this point, so I asked a mutual friend if he knew what was really happening. Turns out, his girlfriend had no idea he was seeing someone else, me, and had no idea he was planning on leaving her. I was furious when I heard this and immediately went to confront him. I told him I knew he had been lying to both of us and to not contact me again. For a while, he started texting me all the time to apologize, but I blocked his number and that would be the end of it. But 3 months ago, I walked into a cafe and he saw me, so he came to sit with me. We catch up a bit and he apologizes for everything that happened, but tries to guilt-trip me the entire time. He said their relationship was really as bad as he said, so he just couldn't find it in his heart to leave his mentally ill girlfriend. But now he officially broke up with her. When I got home, I snooped on his Facebook just to see that they're still together, still living together, and she's pregnant. By this point, I'm just relieved I dodged a bullet and I'm not a part of their toxic situation anymore. At least that's what I thought, because just last week, he sent me a message from a new number telling me he hasn't stopped thinking about me since he saw me. Letting me go was the biggest mistake of his life, and he wants me back. He starts going on about how seeing me brought back all the memories and reminded him of how happy we were. He also tells me he still believes we are soulmates. He then asks me if I would be willing to give him another chance. I just replied that it was good to see him, but I've moved on. I've been thinking about this for a few days and I'm wondering if I should tell his girlfriend what happened. Thing is, I have no idea how much of this woman's mental state he was being honest about, or if she really was mentally abusing him. I know from mutual friends that she would probably react very badly, probably violently, if she knew what he had done. Part of me wants to just draw a line under it and do nothing, but I keep thinking if I was pregnant and had been living with a man for like 5 years, I would want to know if he was trying to start an affair and calling some other woman his soulmate. Should I tell her? My manipulative ex-boyfriend wants to get back together with me and is lying about dating a girl. I just found out she's pregnant with his baby. Part 2. My ex was manipulative and gaslighted me all the time. He tried to convince me that he wasn't dating his girlfriend to get me back, even though she was pregnant with his baby. I sent him a message letting him know that I knew they had never broken up as he said they had. When I mentioned the pregnancy and that I wasn't afraid to tell her what he was doing, he denied everything and said I was mistaken because they had definitely broken up. He even said she was not pregnant, and if she was somehow pregnant, it was nothing to do with him. I was sick of him thinking he could continue to get away with blatant lies, so I sent him screenshots of the announcement from her public Facebook posts with him tagged. I demanded the full truth from him, and asked him what made him think he was going to get away with manipulating and lying to 2 women who are both honestly worth better than him. He told me he didn't love her, didn't want to be with her, and with the pregnancy being so fresh, he didn't want to ruin her joy by leaving her. Apparently, he really meant everything he had ever said to me, and hoped we could work things out so we could be together. I told him I'd been done with him for a long time and wanted nothing to do with him going forward. I have text messages that date back to 4 years of him insisting he was going to leave his girlfriend, conversations where he lied and said she knew he was seeing someone, and all the manipulative things he said to get me to stay with him. He claimed he loved me and couldn't stand to be with her. All he wanted was to run out on her so we could be together. I made him aware that I would be sending all of this to his girlfriend because she has a right to know what sort of man she is having a child with. He begged me not to because she wasn't mentally stable enough to deal with this right now. I was tired of him trying to use that as an excuse. In the end, he blocked me, so I decided to leave it and didn't message her. I assumed he would just take this as a warning and do better, but I gave him too much credit because his girlfriend messaged me on Facebook. She sent a long paragraph accusing me of trying to ruin her relationship and start an affair with her best friend and soulmate. I honestly could not believe he would try to make me the bad guy in all this. To clear my name, I sent her everything, from our conversations to photos of us together. I also apologized and explained that I had been seeing him for years, but was under the impression they were separated and she knew everything. I calmly advised her to read everything, then she could make her own choices. I blocked both of them across all social media because I want nothing further to do with this.